We've come to yet another completely new, different video series, and in this entire series, we're going to be explaining question 2 of paper 5 in depth. This is by far the most structured question that you will ever see. You'll be given some experiment being conducted, and you don't really have to worry about understanding the point of the experiment, although at times it is beneficial to do so. You'll be given certain questions that rely on how well you can analyze the question. So we're going to go through step by step through the different parts of this question and help you master this question. Trust me, after the end of this video series, you're not going to need any other video whatsoever, and I'm going to help you understand in depth. And if you want access to the document that I'm using, the link is in my description. You can get this document just at $1.99, and you can be able to better understand question 2 and help this channel grow. So let's get to it. This question consists of 15 points. So the first few points, or the first point rather, that we're covering in this video is expressions for gradient and y-intercept. What do I mean by this? The first question that you're going to see, you'll be asked, so they just give you a random equation, and you have to begin with it. And here's the most important thing. You have to linearize the equation and express it in the form y is equals to mx plus c. So the first question that you're ever going to get on every single paper 5 will always ask you to determine expressions of the y-intercept or the gradient. And we've already covered linearization in question 1. If you don't understand that, I advise you to go back. So we just go through a couple of examples under this concept, and you'll be asked just for that, the expression for the gradient and the y-intercept. So this part will always have 1 mark for the gradient and the y-intercept expression. So what are you expected to do? Let's look at an example from winter 2024 question paper 5.2. Okay, so it is suggested that d and theta are related by the equation b over b plus d squared is equivalent to sine squared over n squared. We're given b and n being constants, and the graph of d squared is plotted against 1 over sine squared. Determine expressions for the gradient and the y-intercept. So what you're supposed to do underneath this question is basically just express it in the form y is equal to mx plus c. So if you look at this particular thing, we have b over b plus d squared, and our goal is to express it in the form y is equal to mx plus c. So how this works is the y is whatever goes on the y-axis, then the x is whatever goes on the x-axis. So your goal is to make whatever is supposed to be on the y-axis the subject of the formula. So by looking at that equation, I can basically say, how can I use mathematics to make sure that d squared is basically on the on the left hand side? Is basically the y variable that we have to be working with here. So what we can do is I can multiply both sides by b plus d squared. So I can multiply that side and multiply that side by b plus d squared. Now I can be able to expand the right hand side. How so? Because b multiplied by sine squared over n squared is b sine squared theta over n squared, plus d squared is also like that, d squared sine squared theta over n squared. And you can see now I'm sort of trying to have one expression where d squared is left alone on one side. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to rearrange the equation to express d squared in terms of 1 over sine squared theta. So just take whatever is on the right hand side, transfer it to the other side of the equation, and make sure that everything just makes sense. Okay, so we're going to factor out b on the left hand side of the equation, because now you're realizing that I have b here and I want 1 over sine squared. So I'm going to factor that out. Then I'm left with d squared sine squared theta over n squared. So what I'm going to do is now divide both sides by sine squared theta over n squared to solve for d squared. And how I do that is basically divide that side by n squared over sine squared. That eliminates. I'm left with d squared, and then that n squared over sine squared theta, that n is going to multiply throughout, and I get bn squared over 1 times, and then now you're able to see that I have that n squared over sine squared cancels out with that sine squared theta over n squared, because that n squared cancels with that. Sine squared theta flips and becomes 1 over sine squared theta. That cancels out. So I'm only left with b. So the overall equation therefore becomes d squared is equivalent to bn squared over sine squared theta minus b. So you can now see I can compare it with the linear equation form, y is equal to mx plus c. How so? The gradient now is whatever is the coefficient of whatever is supposed to be x. In this case, it's bn squared, and the y-intercept is negative b. And that's it. You get the first mark just for doing that. That's how you think of question 2, right? Another example, I give you 9702 S22, question paper 5-1. Right? We're given that L and M are related by that above formula. It's always the same, guys. Determine expressions for the gradient and the y-intercept. So how are we going to calculate this? Well, we're going to take a log on both sides. So take logarithm on one side and take a logarithm on the other side. So you can take loans if you want. In this case, they only told me log L, so I can't use natural logarithms in that instance. So don't do that, right? So if you take log on one side, take log on the other side. Using the logarithmic property that we know, if I have log AB, that's the same as saying log A plus log B. So now I can be able to expand whatever I had above, and I have log sz. Remember, I want to have log m on its own so that it becomes the value of x. That's why I didn't say log sm to the power of n is one thing, because that was not my intention at all. Then if I look at this, now I have log sz being my y-intercept, and then the n drops because you know that if I have log m to the power of some variable, that variable can drop. So for example, log m to the power of n is the same as n log m. This is just logarithms that you basically would have done. So in this case, your gradient is going to be equal to n, and your y-intercept is going to be equal to log s multiplied by z. Let's go another example. We're going to go just through a lot of examples. So try them on your own. Pause the video, try it out, and then just be able to tell me if you're able to get it correct. The next part, we suggested that the velocity v of a glider b, as it passes through the light gate, and m are related by the above equation. So we're given that equation, v is equals to 2u divided by m plus a, where a is the mass of the glider. A graph of 1 over v on the y-axis against m is plotted on the x-axis. So you just have to make sure that 1 over v is on the left-hand side, and m is on its own on the right-hand side. Then you have a gradient expression, then you have the y-intercept expression. So how are we going to do that? So basically we're going to flip the equation, right? So cross multiply it and get 1 over v being equal to m plus a over 2u times a. Then you're going to split those two equations, and you're going to have 1 over v is equal to m over 2ua plus a over 2ua. The a and a cancel out. You're left with 1 over v is equals to m over 2ua plus 1 over 2u. Now you can therefore see that the gradient is certainly 1 over 2ua, and the y-intercept is just 1 over 2u, right? That's basically it. That's all you need to intercept. So that's basically how it is. Remember, the trick in this part of the question is to linearize the equation and give expressions for the gradient and the y-intercept, and you'll be able to get this mark. Now, in order to make this make sense for you, already I talked about how I compile this document to help you transform how you're going to answer this question. If you look at the back of this particular document, I've categorized every single question that you're going to ever meet from 2010 up until 2024. And I've put the equations for each and every year, and then I've categorized them and color coordinated them based on the topic that it's about. So if they're equations with linear equations, or with fractions, or with exponents, or with powers, I've categorized them, and all you have to do is look at that sheet, look at the equation that looks scary, and tackle that paper. That's basically it, right? Thank you guys for watching, and I definitely hope to see you in the next video, which is right over here. Please do click it out on your way out and subscribe. Also, if you have found this content very meaningful. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you there.